Today I want to talk to you a little bit about disciplinary literacy and reading comprehension. First, we're going to talk about why. Why are we teaching literacy in the disciplines? And second, we're going to talk about how. How can we teach our students to comprehend what they read? Last week we looked at the Common Core State Standards, or CCSS, for English language arts, and specifically you looked at down here at the grades 6 through 12 literacy in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects. And you health science teachers would be considered technical subjects, although you may find, because you are teaching a specific science, that some of the science strategies will be helpful too. So sometimes you may want to read the science, sometimes you may want to read the technical subjects. That's just a little sidebar. Okay, below that is Appendix A, and the reason I want to show you this is because Appendix A really talks about the why the Common Core State Standards were developed, and why the Common Core State Standards are not just English language arts standards. They are also literacy in social studies, science, and technical subjects. So if you're interested, you can read this entire document. It's not a long document. But what it talks about is that only 50% of students who took the ACT between 2005 and 2009 were able to earn a B or better in their courses in college. This is actually the 2006, but the same information was again found in 2009. So less than half of our students are prepared to be successful in college. And they have also found that the literacy needed for college and career is increasing over time, but that our text that we're using in high school has stayed the same, has stagnated, or even decreased. So there's a gap between what students are expected to do in high school and what they're expected to do in college and career. This is really important because what they're being asked to do in college and career is very literacy heavy. So I'm going to close out this screen and show you right here. This is the ACT report citing the 2006, but this is actually the 2009 report. And in the 2009 survey, post-secondary instructors, that meaning university professors as well as vocational school instructors, and high school teachers across content areas were asked to what degree the knowledge and skills for college and career readiness overlap. So what is needed for freshman year of college and what is needed in the career. And 71% of responding high school teachers and 78% of responding post-secondary instructors replied either a great deal or completely. So whether your students are going straight to their career after high school or straight to college after high school, they are going to need to be able to read and write in that discipline. So what we're finding is about 80% of today's career involve reading and writing. 80% of what a scientist does during the day is reading and writing. Okay, so besides this traditional reading and writing, we also have digital literacy, being able to read and write in the digital world. And right here, I just wanted to show you a statistic. 80% of Fortune 500 companies post their job openings entirely online, only online. So our students are going to have to be able to use technology to read and write in order to even apply to those jobs. Okay, so that is why it is important for our students to be able to read and write. And in order for them to read and write, we're going to have to share the responsibility. And the CCSS explain in this Appendix A right here, you can read the whole document if you would like, that because the style and purpose varies across different academic disciplines, content area teachers must be able to teach students how to read and write using the text structures and the stylistic conventions of that discipline. Also, we have to collaborate and share this responsibility for integrating literacy instructional activities into our classes. And that's what in this class we're doing on the forum. So we are collaborating so that we can support each other in teaching literacy in our classrooms. Okay, and this week, one of the ways that we are collaborating is talking about reading comprehension. So this document, Reading for Understanding, is part of the assigned reading for week 3. You can click it and it will take you to a PDF document if you would like. All right, and we're just reading chapter 2. Chapter 2 tells us about reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is the how. How are we going to teach our students to be able to read and write in their disciplines? They have to be able to understand what they read, and comprehension is understanding. Okay. I want to walk you through this article because it's very technical and there are some very technical literacy ideas expressed. Okay, so I want you to watch this either after you read it or before you read it, and then again after you read the article. Defining comprehension. We define reading comprehension as the process of simultaneously extracting and constructing meaning. We see this word constructing, that is based on the constructivism theory, so that we are building knowledge by connecting it with the knowledge we already have. There are 3 parts of reading comprehension. Number 1 is the reader. Who is reading? Who are we asking to read? Number 2 is the text. What are they reading? And 3 is the activity. How are they reading it? So those 3 parts, the reader, the text, and the activity, are displayed here. The reader, the text, and the activity. Now these 3 pieces of comprehension are within the socio-cultural context. Socio meaning society, so it's within our society's context, the time and place, and it's also within each individual's cultural, so the cultural beliefs and values that the person brings to the text as well. All right, so let's first talk about the reader. Oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. The reader. The reader is the student, okay? So the reader must have a wide range of abilities and knowledges. First is the cognitive capacities. Cognitive means thinking. So is the reader able to sustain attention to the reading? Is the reader able to remember what they read, analyze, read between the lines? Inferencing is reading between the lines. Visualizing, very important in reading science text, is visualizing. Is the reader motivated to read? Do they think that the reading is relevant? And then self-efficacy, that's another technical term. Self-efficacy means confidence. Is the reader does the reader believe that he is able to do the reading? And this is really important. Research has shown that self-efficacy as a reader is really important to success as a reader. And then there's other types of knowledge the reader brings. There's knowledge of the vocabulary. There's knowledge of the specific topic. So if you're reading about cell growth, does the reader know about cell growth? There's linguistic or knowledge about language and text structures. And then there's also discourse, which is that disciplinary knowledge. And then there's knowledge of comprehension strategies. Now, comprehension strategies, there are the strategies in chapters 4, 5, and 6, which I would call those the activity. So we'll talk about those a little later. There's also comprehension strategies that we call fix-up strategies. And those are things you do as a reader, if you're a successful reader, that you probably don't even think about. Fix-up strategies are strategies like reading slowly if the information is something that needs to be digested and remembered. Rereading if you don't understand. So stopping and saying, hey, I don't understand, and then rereading in order to understand. Sometimes we don't understand and we say, you know what, I'm going to keep reading to see if I'll understand later. Those are comprehension strategies that good readers do that we need to explicitly teach to our struggling readers. Okay, now this next paragraph talks about fluency. Fluency is being able to decode the words. If you're finding, fluency is being able to decode the words, which is the antecedent to comprehension. It's needed before you're able to comprehend, but then fluency is also a consequence of comprehension. So the more you know about a topic, the more fluent you're going to be in reading it. If you're finding, and I've seen from your forum that you are, that some of your students are not efficient in recognizing words, that their word identification is not at grade level, if their phonics is not at grade level, this is where you need to refer them to a literacy specialist. So if you have a literacy coach at your school, or even their language arts teacher, or their special education teacher. So you, as the content area teacher, you aren't expected to be diagnosing their phonics or their decoding skills. If you're seeing problems in this area, that is when you need to elicit the support of the literacy specialist in your school. Okay, but as that disciplinary expert, what you need to be teaching your students and concerned about with your students is this paragraph. So as students read, they gain content knowledge. They also gain knowledge of that specific discipline, how that discipline organizes information, how that discipline organizes knowledge, how that discipline organizes texts. And they're developing vocabulary knowledge. The more they read, the more of that knowledge they get. On the other hand, there's an effect if they don't read, then they're not getting that information. So the more they read, the better they get. The less they read, the bigger the discrepancy.